It's the Charlotte Soccer Show World Cup banter style. Your boy DannyBrams here to have some fun talking about really not fun day in sports, unfortunately. And what can I say? Matt Geslin here, as always, as well, out on the West Coast. West Coast Matt. I mean, do you like the nickname West Coast Matt? Or
I'll go with it. We can go with it for now
West
until we
Coast
figure something
Geslin?
out.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
figure
know.
something out.
I don't know why I always reference that you're on the West Coast. Like, no one cares. It's not really that big of a deal.
Not
But I always have to point
no,
out,
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And by now,
Maybe I'm
hopefully
jealous.
they all know. So,
Yeah, I love Charlotte, but the West Coast is pretty nice. I grew up out there out west,
Mhm.
and I was actually born in Northern California. So
Yeah, that's right.
who knows? Maybe I'll go back there someday. But
Yeah, it's not bad.
we are here to talk about the round of 16 in the World Cup. Got to apologize for missing the show yesterday. We both had a bunch of stuff going on. Just neither of us could get to it, and ended up I was driving. Actually, I actually drove all night from Atlanta back to Charlotte because I really wanted to get home to be in place to watch this game with some great tifos. I want to thank Michael Volak and Jenny Swatling. They invited me out to have a good time at Neighborhood Grill, Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. They're like the TFOS. They're like some of the originals
Yeah.
of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And great people. And Jenny and I had a great time. What I love when I'm talking to like newer Charlotte FC fans is when this happens to me a lot. Maybe, and because like I'm always like acting like I know a lot about soccer or something like that. But people who are newer fans are always defaulting to me and being like, well, you know way more than I do, but blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, right. I don't know anything. I don't know shit. You know just as much. And so Jenny, she's a former like high level college basketball player back in her day. And she was like saying like, I don't know if this is true, but it seems like this is going on in the field. I'm like, yes, you're exactly right. You know what you have eyes. You can see what you're talking about and figuring it out. So I love to see that. I love she had never watched soccer before until Charlotte FC. Now she's like locked into the World Cup.
Yep.
So for the crown, for Uncle Sam, and for 2026 at this point, because we're out, buddy.
Yeah, black and morning. So
I like that.
Tough morning this today.
We should have worn the black.
Obviously, a great run by the team. I think a lot to be proud of, a lot to look forward to 2026, as we've talked about a couple of times here on the show. I think there's definitely some area to critique and look back on and kind of just assess what, realistically what happened. But at the same time, again, these guys put their hearts on the line and did a tremendous job. And, it was what it was this morning and kind of to be expected. I think, unrealistically, we all were hoping and dreaming of a victory and advancing, but the realism.
Some of us thought, I mean, it was even more than a dream for some people, or for some people were really into this idea that like it was going to happen.
Oh yeah,
it just felt like it. And the Netherlands hadn't been super impressive in the group stage, so
I mean, I said that it was the easiest of the teams that we could have played, and yet I was kind of under the impression that the Netherlands was still going to make it a little bit more comfortable than we thought, and it turned out to be that way. And it was right out of the gate, and an opportunity that we had to change the game. We can get to that in a minute, and then of course they take their opportunities and capitalize on them when they had them. So one of those things, and that's what a young developing team will look like. And again, like you said, 2026 is right around the corner, and the future looks very bright after this tournament.
Yeah, and let's just to break down what happened is we lost 3-1. And we were doing our thing, sort of our we've been a first half team in this cup. In this cup, we come out like gangbusters right off the opening kick and really take it to the opposition. We did that in all three group games, and then with mixed results in second halves. We gave up the goal to Wales. We held on for dear life against Iran, and just kind of killed the game against England. So there we were in the first half, first 10 minutes out there, dominating the ball, getting some chances. Pulisic, I mean, I thought, what did you think Christian Pulisic's chance right away off the bat was offside?
No, right at first thought, it looked just like a bang bang play, which is kind of what it was in the end when you saw the replay, and ultimately we can get to it. I think that was really until late in the second half, really the best opportunity that the U.S. got. I don't think even with all the possession that we had, the way we were moving the ball. That was really the only chance that you kind of got up out of your couch for from
Right.
the U.S. side. And really,
And
it wasn't an intentional play. It kind of, it came out of the
well, I
box.
think Adams was making an intentional pass. I just think what happened was Adams did a little lofted ball over the top, and I think it was intentional, and it got to Pulisic, who was all
It
alone.
did, yeah,
But
right.
I just think like he was so clear in front of the big group of defenders that it looked like an obvious offside until you
Right.
saw the replay.
Yep.
Lazy Daily Blend, who unfortunately came back to kill us later.
Yeah, in
But
the end, yeah.
this guy is one of the laziest players in the Dutch league. He has great stats.
Yep.
And he's been he always like does well in fantasy and things like that. And he plays in Ajax. He racks up points in various fantasy games for Ajax. I hate the guy because I never use him. And I mean, I hate's a strong word, but yeah, he was really lazy on the top, far away from the play, and that allowed I think Pulisic might have thought he was offside, or I certainly, once the shot was saved, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter, it was offside. And then they showed the replay. I was like, oh god dang.
Yeah, and again, being clinical, taking your opportunity, right? Even if it was offside, still putting the net, and obviously 10 minutes later they scored and did the same.
It wasn't right at the keeper, but it didn't give Noppert, the keeper, a very hard time, I didn't feel.
It didn't, and it's starting to become a trend with Christian, and it's becoming a little concerning, I think.
I know this has been a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw this the last couple games going into the break with Chelsea. Really good opportunities from 10 yards and in, missing the net, not putting the ball in the back of the net, and that carried over. Yes, he got the big goal last game, but it's a driving to the net situation. You put your foot on it. That 9 times out of 10, that's going in the net. No, whoever that is.
Yeah, or just put it in a corner of the goal instead of shooting into the middle, right?
In this case, it's him one-on-one with the golie. He has to make that decision, and he doesn't deliver. And ultimately, it changes the game. Like I said, 10 minutes later, the Netherlands goes down, and they take their chance, clinical as it was, and they're off to the races. So
what did I text you right before they scored? I said they're rope-a-doping us because we were like living in their half for the first 10 minutes of the game, just living in it. And I was like, this is a rope-a-dope. And I don't think I'd even finished typing that. I don't think I'd even hit send before all of a sudden Dumfries is running, free down the right side with an early ball cross, like back, to the top of the box. And Anthony Robinson had a really bad game. Let's call up the sofa score ratings because Anthony was really rough. He had a horrible somehow Dest ends up lower rated as I start to look at this, but I just thought Anthony was really bad. He wasn't like solo at fault, but he was just always in the wrong spot. And it's like, you think like when he's playing alongside Tim Ream, his club teammate, you think there would be at least like some form of like good communication or whatever, but they were, at odds and ends between the two of them. They didn't seem to know what was going on. Neither here nor there.
We talked about it before the tournament or after the night of the selection with John, and obviously defense was the issue of this team, right? And they got exposed tonight. I think the first 3 games in the group stage, England didn't necessarily, let's be honest, I don't think England gave us their best performance that night, so let's take it for what it was. That midfield really controlled the game, all 3 group stage games, right? Able to kind of give that defense a little breather or separation, or if Tyler Adams was coming back to help out and give them some support. I think what happened today, as you saw, was exactly what you said. Louis van Gaal put this trap in place, and Greg Berhalter dove right into it, right? Like midfielders, players are playing
come a little closer, said the spider to the fly, for sure.
I mean, midfield players are playing up higher up the field. Serginho Dest and Robinson were flying down the wings, and so you get exposed in the back. And then one ball through from Frankie de Jong, split the D and open the lines, and it was easy from there.
Watch the wide replay. Robinson's kind of running left and then running right, and kind of almost like doing like karaoke or whatever, like at football, like he used to do at football practice and like a gridiron football practice. And he was just absolute mess, and he let the cross come in. Adams was not great either. Adams was jogging back. He let Memphis Depay sprint right past him after as De Jong's sliding the pass out to the wing. Memphis like sprinted past Adams, and then he kind of got into this little groove zone between the midfield and defense, and he was wide open. And I love Tyler Adams, and I think Adams played a good game. He's rated a 7.2. He nearly had the assist. You see Robinson a 6.7. Somehow Dest got a 5.8. I don't know exactly what happened there, but that was a bad moment for Adams. That was a really bad moment of jogging and not like It's the World Cup, man. You get
Yeah.
back. If a guy in orange runs right past you and then all of a sudden is like trotting 5 yards in front of you into open space, get on your bike and go.
Yeah. And I think it was just a perfect example of how the team played in the entire first half. Tyler Adams, that situation right there was how he looked sometimes at Leeds, right? We've talked about that. Their defense is not the greatest. Well, who's a big part of what is supposed to be kind of keeping that defense together? Tyler Adams. And you see it. And so that whole first half was very much what you see in the worst sense of what Team USA could be. Completely different situation in the second half. Honestly, look
at the momentum meter.
Yeah.
Look at the blue. Like there's our first 10 minutes dominating. Yep. They come back and score their goal. And then also in the second half, again, I should have just not been texting you and John. This is horrible because what did I right as the second half's closing, and I was like thinking to myself, I was like, do I wait till halftime to send this or just send it now? And I was like, I gotta go, I'm sending this now. And I fire off this dumbass text that says, looking good at the end of the first half. I like our chances.
Yep.
If we can like keep up this energy level. I was worried about like, will the energy drop off in the second half like it has been? No sooner had I sent that than mother effing Daily Blind
showed you up, Danny.
He found himself in open space, and maybe that's where Dest got the bad rating because Dest was really bad on that play. I think he probably got like an error that led to goal, like
he did. Yeah, he let Blind come in right behind him and didn't see him. And two moments in this game that really, other than that, I think was a pretty even game. You go into the half down only 1-0. With the opportunity to bring on, and we can get to it in a minute because he definitely should have been playing this whole time. But you can bring on your subs in the second half, right, to kind of go for that 1-1 draw. But that 2-0 goal right at the depth, that's just a dagger, right? And then the other one, of course, after we get the goal to get it to the 2-1, pushing for the equalizer, a dumb, boneheaded defensive sleepy mistake, 3-1, game over. So two moments in the game, that really could have changed the outcome here. And I think that both of those are going to be something that this team can learn from. They're both situations, end of half situation. You have to put your mind to it for the entire till the whistle blows, right? And then after you score a goal, the emotion, the high of, hey, we can do this, and kind of that forward thinking, and then you turn off for a second and a team like the Netherlands penalizes you. So I think it was a pretty good performance, but unfortunately that's not what we're looking for.
At 2-1, I thought we had a chance, and the subs came in. Reina came in at half. That was a good sub, I guess. I think Reina's obviously one of our better players, but I question how, like, I don't know. I'm not trying to say I'm siding with Berhalter here, but I just question, like, how good is Reina really? Is he like, I don't know. Like, I don't watch a ton of Dortmund. I do watch his highlights at Dortmund, so I don't really know.
Now, I will say, and
he didn't really grab this match by the scruff of the neck as a halftime sub.
Yeah, no, I mean, he did come in though, and I love your thoughts on this as far as what he presented to the team, because he came in and played some terrific balls that no one had played in that first half. Is that indicative of the team as a whole, or is that how good he is and what we missed by not having him on the field? He found some pockets.
Yeah, you see his heat map here. Look at red space here, red space here.
So, he's all over the pitch and kind of giving you that option. He, like I said, he played some balls that were
two key passes. Two chances. Those are chances created. Those are that lead to potential goals for sure. He's crossing it.
So why when you were, especially when you knew you were down, going into early, why not bring him on? Why not start him? Especially if you're going to replace him with the guy that you wanted to try this. Give him a shot. Jose Ferreira, and obviously he could be the 9 of the future. But if you're going to swap him with Gio Reyna anyway, or if that may have changed depending on the score, but why not have just started that better player of quality over him at the beginning? And that, to me, again, there's some things here that Greg Berhalter did. I don't like him as a manager long term for this team. I think the team is better than what they put on the field today. I think the talent, there's some holes that have to be filled, but I think ultimately this team has the talent, and they got out coached in a couple games this tournament. And the coach, unfortunately, didn't put them in the position to be successul today in the second half.
Yeah, rough tournament for MLS. I mean, Jesus Ferreira was really bad. He was just completely invisible.
Yep.
And a lot of the other MLS guys didn't even really get in.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Morris somehow played in 2 of our 4 games this tournament, but Zimmerman had, the penalty conceded against Wales.
And you swap the center backs again. Another situation there, Danny Brams. How many times are you going to put these guys in different pairings and different? It's just one of those things. You got to pick an 11 and stick with it sometimes. And I think Greg got a little too cute. I don't think he has that many guys that he can do this with. I think he has to find an 11 and stick with it, and that's it.
Look where Pulisic just like lived.
Dominated.
I mean,
yeah.
That was great to see. Weah was kind of invisible in the first half, and then he like kind of took it personal and decided to go big in the second half. He really kind of only lived here in this little wing area.
Yep.
But that shot from the top of the box that Noppert kind of was late to see, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like a great save necessarily, but it was a nice, he did have to make a move to stop it, or Noppert. And
but then again, you're down 1-0 and you take him off as a striker. Why not change the formation?
Right, exactly,
why not go 3 at the back? Anthony Robinson's having a bad day, like you said.
Right. And Robinson did eventually. Robinson subbed off not until the 90th for Jomo, when it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
And I think Weston McKennie's trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think for every little thing he does well, he kind of just like gives you this air of like maybe. So here's my beef with McKennie, and it's so stupid, I know, but like at one point the Netherlands sent a long ball that we easily got the possession back.
Yep.
There's no one really around Weston, and so he's doing a little square lateral pass over to Adams, and he does this like little Rabona pass, like for no reason, and it's like just make the simple ball and just keep it moving, dude. You don't have to like set yourself up for a Rabona just because you think like that's what makes you a good soccer player, like just these little tips and tricks when they're absolutely not needed. So that was frustrating to me. I feel like he's regressed a little bit, and it just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Weston I'm just so hot cold with him. If he does well in a game, I'm going to be like all over him and praise him for sure. But
I think we're in a much different place, Danny Brams, for U.S. soccer. I think the midfield is as strong as they are. We know what they are, right? Yunus Musah is the future for this team in the long term. I think can he develop that offensive, creative playmaker skill that we're lacking in the midfield? I think you saw it really well with the Frankie de Jong. He's not the greatest. I know he's got, his issues and everyone wants to bark at him. But he controls the field. He dictates where the ball goes. It flows through him. Can we find that center midfielder? Tyler Adams, of course, is the rock in that central defensive midfield role. Musah can sit next to him, but we still need that guy in front of them, that can kind of, like I said, be that playmaker, distribute the ball out. It's a good place to be. Like you mentioned, Weston regressed a little bit, another one, and I hate bashing him for what it is, but we have to look at it realistically. Pulisic was good, but he wasn't great. He was good, and we needed him to be great. He's 24 now. I think a lot of people are looking at this as hey, let's give him. He's still young, but at the same time in football, not a good day for soccer today, by the way. In football, you have to be, 20. You look at Musiala, look at Xavi, look at Pedri. They're all under, Jude Bellingham. There's all
Pedri,
over the
Gavi,
world. There's young guys, and we don't have that, right now. So that's the next level for us, is to develop that. And ultimately, the game is in a good place globally. The U.S. is in a good place, but we need that next level to get to that next department, which I think is key for us.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and let you slander Christian Pulisic any longer, because there is a fantasy pool to talk about as well. Yes. And this might shock some people. I don't know if it'll shock people or not, but we have a new tab on the spreadsheet. It's been updated. It existed, but I had to rebuild it. It's the fantasy MVP tab. It puts all the players and all the teams together and shows you who's scoring the most points against each other. And here's our boy, Captain America, 3rd place in the fantasy MVP rankings. It's amazing. He's got it's Messi, Mbappe, and Pulisic as far as his fantasy pool goes. Now, granted, he did play an extra game. He got this extra game, so we're not going to see him stay up there probably, because we're done at this point. And so he's got he can only go down. Other people start to pass him, but I think he might hold as one of the top 10 fantasy players of this tournament. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he was clearly one of the better players for US who made it to the knockout stage. So I think that obviously plays into it points wise. Right? So yeah, I mean,
78 points. I mean, 25
yeah,
and a half points in a loss.
yeah,
Not bad. He got the assist to
yep,
Haji, which we didn't really talk about Haji Wright's goal, but I mean, God, what a nonce goal. I mean, to just
he
like
had
miss
no
the
idea
ball
about
and
it.
completely
He knew
run
nothing
past it
about
and
it.
then clip it with the back of your
Yeah.
heel and bounce over the keeper's head. Absolutely amazing.
Hey, we'll take it though. But he knew
Yeah, we
nothing about
needed it at
that
the
goal.
time for
He
sure.
knew nothing
Oh,
about it.
I was sitting there talking about the fantasy standings. I forgot to actually share the tab. What a dummy. But yeah, Haji Wright, man. No one had him in the fantasy pool with good reason, but he got the goal. He got us back in it
Yep.
at 2-1. I really thought we had a chance, and then wing back to wing back. I always love to see when I'm cheering for my team. I love to see a wing back to wing back goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's always fun. I
Yep.
hate to see it against my squad, and for the U.S. to give it up twice.
Yeah. It's like,
Dumfries to Blind, and then Blind to Dumfries. It
yeah,
was
it hurts.
absolute
It hurts.
lunacy. It really
It
hurt,
hurts.
but look at that, our boy Captain America, right up there with the
Yep.
Messis and Mbappe's, Gakpo's, Fernandez of the world. So
Yep.
Bruno Fernandez, shout out. Holding it 5th in the fantasy MVP rankings. Portugal's still alive, and he only played 2 games. He sat
Yeah.
out the third group game, so he's
Could have hurt you in the group. Could have hurt you earlier on that he didn't get you that third game, but could help you down the line, like you
still
said.
alive. They play
Yep,
Switzerland,
still alive.
right?
And
So,
and you mentioned the goat at the top who absolutely performed again today for Argentina. Of
mhm.
course, much more difficult game for them, I think, than most people thought against Australia, but they advance into the quarterfinals where they'll play the Netherlands. Messi with the opening goal, of course, to carry this team once again on his back to as far as he needs to get them to ultimately winning the trophy. So not much, again, Australia gave him a game. More than I think most people
Yeah,
expected, but
I don't
Argentina
know.
advanced.
I didn't think Australia really did all that much, but
No, but they gave, they was 2-1
reasonable
and
minds can
sweating and,
disagree.
it's so, anything can happen. We saw yesterday and, last couple of days, these games are wild and, you never know what's
Australia
going to
did
look
get a
like.
goal, which was
Yeah.
unfortunate if you're an Emi Martinez owner because it was just an
Yes.
absolute total. The U.S. the Haji Wright goal was a total fluke. The own goal on Enzo Fernandez, total fluke.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So there's been some weird goals. It's been a really weird tournament. Also, I was adding this up. Missed PKs. There's been a ton of PK misses.
There
Lewandowski
have.
missing a
Yeah.
PK. Messi missing a PK.
Great memory.
I forget who took the PK for Ghana yesterday, but they missed a PK.
So I have the top 3 on this list, DannyBrams. I must be pretty close to the top of the leaderboard, or where are we sitting over there?
my man. I got to give you the Denzel Washington, my man, gif on that one because you unfortunately, my friend, are not that close.
Oh,
As
that's painful. That is painful
we
to hear.
move over to the leaderboard tab. Let's talk a little bit about the leaderboard. First off, day 13, we forgot to do a show. We'll do a quick sort by day 13. We got David Carey, our winner. Congratulations, Mr. Carey. You done did it. You needed that because you're stuck in the middle of the pack, and the daily prize is probably your best bet to get your money back here at this point. How about on day 14, Joby Passanante? Who's Joby have? Because 112 points is pretty
112
wild.
points is a nice day. Yeah.
He's got to have
Messi as a captain, right?
Messi captain, probably Pulisic, obviously, with his huge day. Yeah,
Pulisic.
Messi, who
Messi
else?
captain.
Aaron Moy put up 5 or 6 points
Wow,
today,
good,
and
good
then
pick. Yeah, good day.
for who's his Netherlander, got to be one of the fullbacks, right? Got to be Dumfries, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dumfries with his huge day, it's actually dangerous to those of us who don't have him because he's actually is the most owned Netherlands player, which is insane.
Yep. And they're continuing on.
10 people have Dumfries, yeah, and they're going to keep going on. Van Dijk. 10 people have Dumfries. 9 people have Van Dijk. 8 people have Depay. Dumfries beaten both of them. Gakpo actually has still the most, thankfully, and Gakpo's my pick. So he had a bad day today with only 8 points, no goal. He did come
Frankie
close.
did not do much for me today, so that was
Frankie De Jong. He's either goal. He's kind of a goal or bust player.
Yep,
when it
goal
comes
or bust.
to
Yep. But he's still in it, so points at least for another game. So we'll take that.
Points are coming. So to answer the question you asked a couple minutes ago, even with those top 3 guys, you are not at the top of the leaderboard. You're stuck in 17th. You did move up one spot today. Congratulations.
I'll take it. Consistency again. I'm going to stand by it. I mean, I had a
Right.
28-point day yesterday, but other than that, I'll stay in my 50, 60 range, and we'll see what happens at the end of it.
You're ahead of several people who have won daily prizes, so I would just take stock in that.
And there's a lot to go. I still have a good team left to go, and we'll see what happens. I'll take it.
I have my Uruguayan player, Georgian Diarra, had hardly played. He barely even played in the first. He didn't play in the first game. He only played a couple minutes in the second. Came in, started the third, and this is why I picked this guy. He had 2 goals. He had all the corner kicks. He scored 30 points, and basically, I think he became the top scoring Uruguayan player on their way out the door, which was nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so sometimes things can pay off in the long run. Yeah, Georgian had 35 points compared to Valverde's 24 and Bender's 20. So not bad. That helped me move up a few spots on day 13, but then I dropped right back down on day 14. So here I am in 9th. Shout out to Sebi Chirita, Kevin Knapp, holding strong up at the top, pulling away. Just 3.5 points between these two.
Yep. So
the battle at the top is tight. Joby Passanante with that huge day 14 win jumped 7 spots to get to 3rd. And that knocked AJ Giordano down. Shane Shapansky, big tumble, 9-spot drop from 5th to 14th.
Mainstay at the top there and kind of dropped out of the top 10.
Let's investigate what happened to Shep.
Yep.
Shep sitting here with Weston McKennie, almost a 0 point. Angel Di Maria, who did not play today, he was officially out.
Yep.
Who's his Dutchman? Gakpo, slow day at the office for
Messi,
Gakpo, and his Aussie. He doesn't have Messi. That's the problem.
He doesn't have
his Aussie. If I can find it, I mean, probably Matt Ryan. Maybe no. We just break the bowl. Jackson Irvine. Who had negative points. Jackson Irvine had like negative 0.7. So rough day for Shap. He takes the tumble, as we said. Shout out to Volak, lost 2 spots today. I know he and I were talking when we were at Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. We were talking a lot about the pool and some of this fantasy strategy and stuff. So that was fun.
At this point,
I'd like to see Volak climb back up. But how about our boy Luke Beadle?
I know. I was going to say
level up.
2 guests that we've had on the show, DannyBrams, and the next days they both beat both of us and jumped us. So, Rachel, be prepared for tomorrow. You're gonna have a good day, it sounds like. But we gotta this can't happen all the time, DannyBrams. We gotta at least do well when we bring people on.
Another thing, so we've been highlighting the Hayes household battle, Rachel versus John, right? Which it looks like John held in 36th, Rachel dropped a spot. 856 to 810.
She did move away, though. She's
on the 46-point lead on Johnny Boy. Yeah, John had a rough day with only 18 points.
Yeah.
We've talked about the Worley brothers.
We have.
Scott and Chris. So let's see. Where's Scott Worley on this list?
Scott he took a few more points off his brother, so a little more distance between them, but did drop in the standings, so it's getting closer there. So,
and then there's one more household battle or family battle in this contest that we have not even really highlighted yet. It's the Lane brothers. Andy Lane and Kevin Lane. And this is maybe the reason we haven't brought this one up too much is because it's just such a huge. Andy Lane is killing his brother, unfortunately.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Lane is up here at 915 points. He's not really competing for the top necessarily, although he could still threaten the top 4 with a crazy knockout round. I have to check who his captain is, but Kevin Lane is on the struggle bus. Kevin Lane's down here with our friends Vinny Cash and Jess Charman.
And it's funny
because situation.
He started off strong. If you look at the middle round, earlier rounds and previous round, and then
right.
A couple 20 point days.
Andy Lane won a daily prize. Kevin Lane did not.
Sadly. Yeah. And you
Jess,
mentioned
shout out to our good friend Jess Charman. Congratulations on her honor. This week she won a big honor from Queen City Nerve. She won best sportscaster. I forget the official name of the word, but it was best on-air personality in Charlotte. Pretty cool. She crushed it. I voted for her, so full disclosure. But Jess talked to me. She was like, "Yeah, I know the game. I love commentating. I can see things to make analysis on when I'm watching. She's really got a great football brain." She's like, "I'm not as good with the fantasy stat games. It's just not doesn't jibe." And so that has been evidence here. Dan Presser, my boy, Dan used to do better in these pools. This is a pretty bad performance from Presser, I got to say. But
that's a rough 3 days right there.
Yeah, Presser, Ken Barkley, both those two come my old ESPN buddies, along with Dan Hirschberg, who's doing a little bit better. So, it's funny. How about and then our guy Jared Jackson, day one winner, is just when Jared won the first day, I was like, yeah, I'll send you your prize in a little bit. He goes, oh no, just keep it. Just send me all my total winnings at the end.
Peaked and a little confident.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be that way, but it's just kind of funny. Yeah.
And you mentioned DannyBrams, the captains, and how important those guys are going to be here going forward, and just kind of what we're looking at the rest of the way with the pool. Of course, as teams get eliminated and players are off the list and off the board, one of those things that we've noticed and that taken just peek at is on the national score players tab, national player scores tab. Notice if you have one of those guys that's not being picked by everybody, that's kind of where you're going to get some of those points to kind of make up some ground on the folks that are ahead of you. Obviously, otherwise, we're getting to that point where everyone's going to have relatively similar rosters or similar
so
guys.
Captains can be a differentiator.
Captains can make a difference. So one of those things when you're looking at the nuance as we get down to the lesser teams and lesser players, who, for example, my team has.
So we got France, Poland, England, Senegal tomorrow.
Yep. Right? And so I have, João Felix. I'm the only one who has João Felix. So things like that, or Theo Hernandez here for France. Little things like that.
Yeah. If you have Theo, how's Theo? Right now, if you didn't pick Mbappe, you're in trouble.
Yep.
But at least Theo's at least helping you hold your own. The real bad pick is Griezmann over Mbappe because they're both the same position, so you could have had either. And of course, I have Griezmann, and that's why I'm not winning, because I try to be fun, try to be a little bit too cute by half, as they say.
Yep.
As for Senegal, you look. Mendy is the big, heavily owned guy there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have Ismail Assar, if I'm not mistaken. You have Bamba Dieng, right?
I do.
So you're the only person that has him. So goal for him tomorrow against England. He could see you moving up.
And DannyBrams. I mean, we can get into tomorrow's games if you want.
We don't need to bring him down, but you can talk about who's playing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Senegal versus England is the late game. If we're not picking yet, I'll save my thoughts for that one because I have a little.
You can tell me who your pick is.
I have Senegal. I have Senegal beating England in this one. Surprising. This tournament is just going to be full of surprises. Senegal's been fantastic. And hey, we'll see what happens. I have France in the other matchup with Poland.
Do you not also? So Hayes, our boy Hayes, is in Vegas right now. With some work thing, and didn't you send him some messages?
I did.
I want to bet on Japan and Korea to both advance.
What's I did. I took that bet. So I am. I'm putting my foot out there. I think this has been an outstanding tournament. Been just wild and crazy, and you never know what's going to happen next. And so
you think Japan beats Croatia and Brazil beats South Korea.
Yeah, I'm going to have Japan and South Korea, the two Asian countries, and we'll have my final four pick. DannyBrams, which I shared with you guys last night, will have one continent represented in each of the four spots. So it'll not be two South Americans or two European nations. I will just leave it there, and you guys can assume who is going to finish in what positions.
I mean, it's obvious. You picked. You have not told me this, but you clearly picked Argentina, Korea, France, and Morocco.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I'm good at logic puzzles. I love you give me a little set of rules to apply to a
that was quick though too. You're quick on your feet. I like that. That was quick. So
back in the day, I used to be able to think quickly. Too much day drinking has slowed me down over the years, unfortunately, including today. I'm in a miserable spot, Geslin, because I went and did the day drinking for the U.S. and we lost, and then. Normally, if I've been like early morning day drinking at this point in my life, 44 years old, I need to come home and take a nap.
Right.
But the problem was I had to come home and watch a big football game. TCU Horned Frogs were playing for the Big 12 championship. They lost that game. So now I have this like existential dread of like, will TCU make the playoff or will they get screwed over because they lost their last game, even though they still kind of deserve it.
Yep.
And I've got the sort of midday hangover and I didn't get my nap in. Both my teams lost.
I have a theory for you.
I'm in the fantasy pool and I suck.
I have a theory if you'd like.
Hit me.
Solution to your problem.
No, I know what you're going to say.
It is a Saturday night. So you take your quick little nap and you just power through it, and you
Right.
drink your you put on some black, and you drink your sorrows away for the night. That today was the
Let my
worst
day drinking
sports
turn into
day,
night
and
drinking.
tomorrow is just the next day. And that's, unfortunately, I have an advantage in my soccer pick, and I can go tomorrow to watch my France team play. But for the U.S., unfortunately, it's a bitter pill to swallow. On to 2026, and hopefully a different result, and a team that needs to start taking that next step and advancing, not just to the knockout stage, but beyond that, and making that the expectation as opposed to getting there.
Yeah. I want to do on maybe at the end of the cup or whatever. I want to do, I want to talk for a little bit about, how we build up to 26 for the US team.
Absolutely.
But we need to find out who the coach is first.
Yeah.
Like, we need to see if Berhalter gets fired before the World Cup is awarded, which a lot of these teams have already done, firing coaches and stuff like that. So I would fire him. I never would have hired him. So that's
we can
we're all
we can save the bashing out of him.
Yeah.
I think we've all done it.
Jurgen Klopp to U.S. men's national
Yeah.
team is a movement. I
Yep.
started it, and when it happens, I want my freaking flowers on that one for sure.
I'll
I
give you
do.
credit.
If you can't, so you're picking Senegal to beat England.
Yep.
Wildly. I'm certain you're picking France tomorrow.
Yes.
Against Poland. It'd be great to see Swiderski get in there, but I doubt it'll happen. We still don't know if he's hurt, by the way. Hopefully he's not. I don't think he is.
I hope not. Yeah.
But if you will allow me,
Yeah.
I want to end this episode with just a little mini rant.
Okay.
At Dilworth Neighborhood Grill.
Okay.
Which is a pretty well-established haunt in Charlotte. It's been here years and years and years. It's they play up the local thing very much. They're aggressively local, if you will. They got a marquee out in front of the restaurant that says like, "Hey, we employ 73 people, support local," like almost like guilt tripping you if you don't stop
into going there.
Yeah.
They've done that for as long as we've been lived in Charlotte. So
but it's a good place.
Yeah,
we had a good scene and good people. I met some old friends and new friends and all that. It was great. But here's my rant. It's really busy. The game is kicked off. It's packed in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the bar room's packed. The little side rooms are packed. We're in the Moorhead room, if you know the lay of the land there. And the server's all over the place. He's killing himself. I get it. I don't want to it's tough being a server on a busy day when everyone's there.
Right.
But he kind of ignored us for a good 15 minutes. We're 15 minutes into the game after kickoff. We got no beers at our table. And the guy's walking by and we catch him. We say, "Hey, my friend," it was Jenny. Jenny pulled him aside and she's like, "Hey, could we get two buckets of a bucket of Coors Light, a bucket of Mick Ultras, please? We're trying to drink here during the game." He's like, and this is my rant. He goes, well, it's gonna be a while because there's a lot of people, and I gotta get their drinks, I gotta get their drinks, I gotta get their drinks. And I'm like, dude,
no.
I know it's busy. We all know it's busy.
Yeah.
We asked you nicely to just throw us in the mix, and you give us this attitude. It really pissed me off. So then I was like, well, F this guy. So I get up, I go to the bar, I wait at the bar for 5-10 minutes trying to get attention. Was able to get the bartender's attention. She liked, as I said, I was giving some face. I gave a little face, and she liked the face I was giving. So I was able to get even with a couple people around me. I got my hand on my face, and then she goes, "Hey, you, what do you need?" So I get 2 buckets of beers.
Yeah,
and I bring them back to the table, and it was like, "Oh, the hero of the day, DannyBrams, you got the beers, yeah." And then no sooner have I sat down, start handing out some beers, and the freaking server shows up at the table with 2 buckets of beers. It's like, bro, don't give me that. It's kind of a biblical parable. It makes me think of called The Son Who Said He Wouldn't, where this old dad asks his 2 sons to help him in the fields, and one says he will and then doesn't show up, and then one says he wouldn't and does show up.
Right.
And he's like, and the dad's like, "Well, I'm not really, I'm glad you helped me, but why didn't you just tell me you were going to help me? If this server, thanks for bringing us the buckets, but I went and got up and missed part of the game to go get new buckets because of your childish response when we brought it up, and then you bring the beers. It's like, motherfucker,
you have extra beer, so you did drink all the extra beer, though, correct?
Am I complaining too much? Maybe.
No. And I will say this: it doesn't sound like Dilworth Neighborhood Grid will be on the Charlotte Soccer Show rotation anytime soon, unfortunately. So, which is excited though that it's close. DannyBrams, it's already December. MLS is back
Amazing.
pretty soon, so
Yeah, we should be finding out the schedule for our Kings of Charlotte
Yeah.
here in the next 3 weeks or so. I think MLS will probably release the schedule, hopefully like right
Exciting.
around Christmas. So
Well, luckily we'll hold you guys down on the World Cup until that happens, and you'll have the norm of your favorite two hosts, DannyBrams and John Hayes, when that comes back. But until then, we will see you tomorrow. And as always, DannyBrams.
for the cup, baby.